Thank you. ॐ अज्ञानातिव्रान्दस्य ज्ञानजलशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सागण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामीति नामिने। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरि बोल।
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Haribol. So we continue chapter 10, text number 14. Sarvam metatritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidurdevana danava. Sarvam etad these ritam truths manye accept yet which Mam, unto me, Vadasi, you tell, Keshava, O Krishna, no, never, he certainly, te, your, Bhagavan, O person of Godhead, Vyaktim, revelation, Viduhu can know, Devaha, the demigods, Nanor, Danavaha, the demons, translation. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither gods nor demons, O Lord, know thy personality. Arjuna herein confirms that persons of faithless and demonic nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not even known by the demigods. So what to speak of the so-called scholars of this material world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that the supreme truth is Krishna and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita as described in the 4th chapter. The parampara system of disciplic succession for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost, and therefore Krishna re-established that disciplic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara system was lost, Arjuna was again selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance of Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then only we can understand that Krishna is the personality of Godhead. Text 15. Svayam evatmanatmanam vettatvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Swayam personality eva certainly atmana by yourself atmanam yourself vetta knows no tvam you purushottama greatest of all persons bhuta bhavana O origin of everything, Bhutesha, O Lord of everything, Deva Deva, O Lord of all demigods, Jagat Pate, O Lord of the entire universe. Translation. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own potencies, O origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, O Supreme Person, Lord of the universe. Purport. The Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in a relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service, like Arjuna and his successors. Persons of demonic or atheistic mentality cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin, and one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. The supreme truth is realized in three aspects as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last the supreme person of Godhead. So at the last stage of understanding the absolute truth, one comes to the supreme personality of Godhead. A liberated man and even a common man may realize impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma. Yet they may not understand God's personality from the verses of Bhagavad Gita, which are being spoken by this person, Krishna. So sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as a Bhagavan or they accept his authority. Yet many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottama. So what does this mean that sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as Bhagavan? What it means? Do some impersonalists accept the personal form? Can someone explain? Yet many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottama, the Supreme Person, the Father of all living entities. Therefore, Arjuna addressed him as Purushottama. And if one comes to know him as the Father of all the living entities, still one may not know him as the Supreme Controller. Okay. Therefore, he is addressed here as Bhutesha, the Supreme Controller of everyone. And even if one knows Krishna as the Supreme Controller of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the origin of all the demigods. Therefore, he is addressed here in as Deva Deva, the worshipful god of all demigods. And even if one knows him as the worshipful god of all demigods, one may not know that he is the supreme proprietor of everything. Therefore, he is addressed as Jagatpati. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna, and we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. That's a nice verse. Yeah, this is because at beginning I just thought that Arjuna was giving some, like random praises, like some praises but these are like one step beyond, and the last was Jagatpati, and it contains everything of those previous ones. Okay, who wants to read next one?
Hey, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Ribon.
व्यक्तुं हरस्य अशेषेण दिव्य हे आत्मविभूतयः यद्भिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् हेमं त्वं व्यप्य तिष्ठसि व्यक्तुं to say heresy deserve assassination in detail. Divya, divine, he, certainly Atma, yourself, Vibhutaya, opulences, Yavi, by which Vibhuti appearances look on all the planets. Heman, this Tvam, you, Vyapya, prevailing, prevailing, prevailing. Okay. This the sea, this the remain translation. Please tell me in detail of your divine powers by which you pervade, pervade all these worlds and abided in them. Purport. In these words, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Lord Krishna by Krishna's grace. Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have through all these agencies, and he has understood Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. For him, there is no doubt, yet he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature so that he in the future people will understand. Say, especially the impersonalist who he exists in his all-pervading except through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. May I continue, Prabhu? Is
Yes.
there to thank you. Kat, kat, katam vidyam aham yogim tvam sadha parichintayan kesh kesu kesu cha bhavetsu chintyosi bhagavan maya katam ho divyam Aham, shall I know, Yogin, O supreme mystic, Tvam, you, Sada always Parichintayan, thinking, Kesu, in which Cha also, Bhavesu, nature, Chintya, Asi, you are sorry, you are remembered, Bhagavan, O supreme Maya, by translation. How should I meditate on you? In what various forms are you to be contemplated, O blessed Lord? Purport. As it is stated in the previous chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by his Yoga Maya. All only surrendered Usos and devotees can see him. No, Arjuna is convinced that his friend Krishna is the supreme personality, supreme godhead, but he wants to know the general purpose by which the all-pervading Lord can be understood by the common man. No, common man, including the demons and atheists, can know Krishna because he is guarded by his Yogamaya energy. And again, these questions are asked by Arjuna for their benefit. The superior devotee is not only concerned for his own understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnava. When a devotee, Arjuna is opening the understanding for the common man as far as the all prevalence of the Supreme is concerned. He unders he he addresses Krishna. Sorry, he addresses Krishna specifically as Yogin because Krishna is the master of the Yoga Maya energy by which he is covered and uncovered to the common man. The common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna, therefore he has to think materially. Arjuna is considering the mode of thinking of the materialistic persons of this world, because materialistic cannot understand Krishna. Spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations.
Oh, thank you so much,
Who
Prabhu.
wants to continue? Because materialistic cannot understand.
Who wants to be next?
Who wants to continue, bro? Hare Krishna.
May I read?
Haribol. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Vistarinat, Vistarinat mano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuyah kathayat triptirhi shrinvato nasti memritam. Vistarena, in description, Atmanaha, of yourself, Yogam, mystic power, Vibhutim, opulences, Cha, also, Janardana, O killer of the atheists, Bhuyaha, again, Kathaya, describe, Triptihi, satisfaction, he, certainly, Shrinvataha, hearing, Na asti, there is no, me, my, Amritam, nectar, translation. Tell me again in detail, O Janardana Krishna, of your mighty potencies and glories, for I never tire of hearing your ambrosial words. Purport. A similar statement was made to Sutta Goswami by the rishis of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka. That statement is Vayam tu na vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yashchirinvatam rasagyanam svadu svadi pade pade. One can never be satiated, even though one continuously hears the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, who is glorified by Vedic hymns. Those who have entered into a transcendental relationship with Krishna relish in every step descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord. Thus, Arjuna is interested to hear about Krishna, specifically how he remains as the all-pervading Supreme Lord. Now, as far as Amritam nectar is concerned, any narration or statement concerning Krishna is just like nectar, and this nectar can be perceived by practical experience. Modern stories, fiction, and histories are different from the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, in that one will tire of hearing mundane stories, but one never tires of hearing about Krishna. It is for this reason only that the history of the whole universe is replete with references to the pastimes of the incarnations of Godhead. For instance, the Puranas are history of bygone ages that relate the pastimes of the various incarnations of the Lord. In this way, the reading matter remains forever fresh, despite repeated readings. Text 19. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Hantate kathayishyami divyahatma vibhutayah pradhanayatah kuru shrestha nastyanto vistarasya me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Hanta, yes, te unto you, kathayishyami, I shall speak, divyaha, divine, he certainly, atma vibhutayaha, person opulences, pradhanayatah, principally, Kuru Shreshtha, or best of the Kuru. Now, Asti, there is no. Antaha, limit. Vistarasya, to the extent. Me, mine. Translation. The blessed Lord said, actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. Purport. It is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. The senses of the individual soul are imperfect and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or in any state of life. Rather, the very topics of Krishna are so relishable that they appear to them as nectar. Thus, they enjoy them. In discussing Krishna's opulences and his diverse energies, the pure devotees take transcendental pleasure. Therefore, they want to hear and discuss them. Krishna knows that living entities do not understand the extent of his opulences. He, therefore, agrees to state only the principal manifestations of his different energies. The word pradhan yataha, principle, is very important because we can understand only a few of the principal details of the Supreme Lord, for his features are unlimited. It is not possible to understand them all, and Vibhuti, as used in this verse, refers to the opulences by which he controls the whole manifestation. In the Amarakoshi dictionary, it is stated that Vibhuti indicates an exceptional opulences. The impersonalist or the pantheist cannot understand the exceptional opulences of the Supreme Lord, nor the manifestation of his divine energy. Both in the material world and in the spiritual world, his energies are distributed in every variety of manifestation. Now Krishna is describing what can be directly perceived by the common man. Thus, part of his variegated energy is described in this way. Anyone can continue next, Haribol.
Can I continue?
Yes, me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Aham Atma
Uh,
Purake. Oh, sorry. Oh, you. Okay. You can go on,
no,
Prabhu.
excuse me, Prabhu.
Okay.
Excuse me.
No, don't worry. Thank you, Prabhu. Aham Atma Kurakesha Sarvabhuta Titaha. Aham Adis Chamatyam Ja Bhutanam Anta Evacha. Aham, I, Atma, soul, Kudakesha, O Arjuna, Sarvabhuta, all living entities, Ashayastita, situated within, Aham, I am, Adihi, origin, Cha, also, Madhyam, middle, Cha, also, Bhutanam, all living entities, Antaha, end, Eva, certainly, Cha, and Translation: I am the Self, O Kudakesha, seated in the hearts of all creatures. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Purport: in this verse, Arjuna is addressed as Kudakesha, which means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. For those who are sleeping in the darkness of ignorance, it is not possible to understand how the Supreme Godhead manifests himself in the material and spiritual worlds. Thus, this address by Krishna to Arjuna is significant. Because Arjuna is above such darkness, the personality of Godhead agrees to describe his various opulences. Krishna first informs Arjuna that he is the self or soul of the entire cosmic manifestation by dint of his primary expansion. Before the material creation, the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansion, accepts the Purusha incarnations, and from him everything begins. Therefore, he is Atma, the soul of the Mahatattva, the universal element. The total material energy is not the cause of the creation, but actually the Mahavishnu enters into the Mahatattva, the total material energy. He is the soul. When Mahavishnu enters into the manifested universes, he again manifests himself as the supersoul in each and every entity. We have experienced that the personal body of the living entity exists due to the presence of the spiritual spark. Without the existence of the spiritual spark, the body cannot develop. Similarly, the material manifestation cannot develop unless the Supreme Soul of Krishna enters. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is existing as the Supersoul in all manifested universes. A description of the three Purusha avatars is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features: Askara, Nodakashayi Vishnu, Karpodakashayi Vishnu, and Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. In this material manifestation, the Supreme Lord Krishna, the cause of all causes, lies down in the cosmic ocean as Mahavishnu or Karanodakashayi Vishnu, and therefore Krishna is the beginning of this universe, the maintainer of the universal manifestation, and the end of all the energy.
Ribo. Yes, this is interesting.
Yeah, I think I didn't get it at all. There was so much information about the Mahavishnu and how Mahatattva. Mahavishnu entered. I should read that again later.
So there are nine creations besides the one. There are 10 creations. One second.
Let's look to the interactions of the modes.
Yes, Prabhu, in the third canto it is described in all details.
Yes, Prabhu. So first there is the eternal time. And that is the source of interactions of the three modes of nature. Kala. But how is the Mahatattva manifested? Do you remember, Dimitri Prabhu? Because I'm just reading these chapters right now, so it's like current topic.
No,
I'm
no,
interested.
Prabhu, I don't remember. I mean, it's really hard for me to understand this.
Yes,
And I
Prabhu.
read it only once. Yeah.
I also
Especially all this, how this ego is transforming from goodness to passion and all this. I mean, it's very comprehensive.
yes, today I read that you know when Lord Brahma creates, he doesn't really create the things, but the Lord in his this Garbhodakasai Vishnu form, he has already planted the seeds. The seeds are there. I don't know, remember if they were already in the Mahatattva or, but he says that the Lord Brahma just places the seeds all around the universe, but they are already created by the Vishnu form.
Yeah, can you go to 3:20:17? I took a note on this verse. It like a brief explanation of the creation. So I believe Srila Prabhupada is explaining very shortly, very briefly. Yeah, you can read.
When the Supreme Person of Godhead, who is laying on the Garbhodaka ocean, entered the heart of Brahma, Brahma brought his intelligence to bear, and with the intelligence invoked, he began to create the universe as it was before. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, purport.
Yeah, and I remember Lord Brahma was scared about this. He was seeing the water, the devastation water, and he was seeing, and he was like scared or bewildered of this. And then the Lord was assuring him that don't worry, I'm inside you, and that
Yes.
you will make this creation again. He was like assuring him. At a certain time, the person of Godhead, Karanatokasai Vishnu, lies in the Karana ocean and produces many thousands of universes from his breathing. Then he enters again into each and every universe as Karbhodakasai Vishnu and fills up half of each universe with his own perspiration. The other half of the universe remains vacant, and that vacant region is called outer space. Then the lotus flower sprouts from his abdomen and produces the first living creature, Brahma. Then again, Kshirodakasai Vishnu, the Lord, enters into the heart of every living entity, including Brahma. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter. The Lord says, I am seated in everyone's heart, and by me are remembrance and forgetfulness made possible. As the witness of the activities of the individual self, individual entities, the Lord gives each one remembrance and intelligence to act according to his desire at the time he was annihilated in his last birth, in the last millennium. This intelligence is invoked according to one's own capacity or by the law of karma. Brahma was the first living entity, and he was empowered by the Supreme Lord to act in charge of the mode of passion. Therefore, he was given the required intelligence, which is so powerful and extensive that he is almost independent of the control of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Yes, also I read the verse that his ability to create the same is like as high as Lord's. Today I read verse like this. Just as highly posted manager is almost as independent as the owner of a firm, Brahma is described here as independent because the Lord's representative to control the universe. He is almost as powerful and independent as the Supreme Person of Godhead. The Lord, as the super soul within Brahma, gave him the intelligence to create. Therefore, the creative power of every living entity is not its own. It is by the grace of the Lord that one can create. There are many scientists and great workers in this material world who have wonderful creative force, but they act and create only according to the direction of the Supreme Lord. A scientist may create many wonderful inventions, by the direction of the Lord, but it is not possible for him to overcome the stringent laws of material nature by his intelligence, nor is it possible to acquire such intelligence from the Lord for the Lord's supremacy would then be hampered. It is stated in this verse that Brahma created the universe as it was before. This means that he created everything by the same name and form as in the previous cosmic manifestation. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, another similar verse is 4:17:33 also. I labeled as a brief explanation of the creation.
Yes, Prabhu. 1 second. The 9.
That's what I have.
Yeah, here the Mahatattva was explained that the first emanation from the Supreme Lord for material creation is called the Mahatattva. The interactions of the material modes is the cause of false identification, or the sense that a living being is made of material elements. This false ego is the cause of identifying the body and mind with the soul proper. Material resources and the capacity and knowledge to work are all generated in the second term of creation after the Mahatattva. Jnana indicates the senses which are sources of knowledge and their controlling deities. Work entails the working organs and their controlling deities. All these are generated in the second creation. This also, that work entails the working organs. So the sun, the eye has no words without the controlling deity of the eye, and that is sun. So the light is giving the power of seeing. Without light, the eyes would have not power of seeing. So it comes from the demigod of the sun.
So how about touch and taste and those things?
Yeah, it is explained in this also. It is the later creations. 1 second. Yeah, the senses are created with the elements. Different element is for different sense. Fire, water. These are because there is no need for a sense if there is not an element that the sense can perceive. So they are created simultaneously. See here, 9 different creations. First is Mahatattva, so all the material ingredients. Second one is false ego. See it here, 16. The sense perceptions are created in the third creation, and from these, the elements are generated. See, so it's first the senses come and simultaneously the elements come that the senses are in touch with. Then comes the creation of knowledge and working capacity. One second. Yeah, this 3:9 and 3:10 was really interesting chapters in Bhagavatam. See here, the last verse or second last verse is about it was about the creation of the demigods. See, last three creations, demigods and yeah, these different demigods. So I saved this verse for about the creation of the demigods, so they cannot, because here it is clearly said that the creation of demigods is of 8 varieties. The demigods' forefathers, the asuras or demons, and all are created by Brahma, the creator of the universe. So if Brahma creates everyone and Brahma is created by the lotus, so they cannot argue that some demigod is higher than Krishna. Okay, what was the verse? It got lost. 4:17.
Yeah.
Translation. Although you are eating green grass every day, you are not filling your milk bag, so we can utilize your milk. Since you are willfully committing offenses, it cannot be said that you are not punishable due to your assuming the form of a cow. Who is talking here to the earth? Although you are eating green grass every day.
No, Prabhu, 33rd verse, not 23rd.
Ah, yeah, 32. My dear Lord, by your own potencies, you are the original cause of the material elements, the performing instruments, the senses, the workers of the senses, the controlling demigods and intelligence, and the ego, as well as everything else. By your energy, you manifest the entire cosmic creation, maintain it and dissolve it. Through your energy alone, everything is sometimes manifest and sometimes not manifest. You are therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. All activities begin with the creation of the total energy, the Mahatattva. Then by the agitation of the 3 gunas, the physical elements are created, as well as the mind, ego, and the controllers of the senses. All of these are created one after another by the inconceivable energy of the Lord. In modern electronics, a mechanic may be by pushing only one button set off an electronic chain reaction by which so many actions are carried out one after another. Similarly, the Supreme Person of Godhead pushes the button of creation and different energies create the material elements and various controllers of the physical elements. And their subsequent interactions follow the conceivable plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I remember that Brahma was really bewildered. He saw the huge wind also. There was big wind and he was looking around him and he was confused. Yeah, and there was the lotus flower and the stem of the lotus flower. He separated that into different portions. And then I think first he went inside the stem and he was trying to find Vishnu from inside the stem also. He went like down and he couldn't find. See here. Thereafter Brahma saw that both the lotus on which he was situated and the water on which the lotus was growing were trembling due to a strong violent wind. Imagine it's completely empty, nothing is created, and there is only Brahma and Vishnu and the strong wind and the water and see, this had matured Brahma in practical knowledge, thus he drank the wind completely along with the water. Thereafter he saw that the lotus on which he was situated was spread throughout the universe, and he contemplated how to create all the planets which were previously merged in that very same lotus. So the planets are merged.
Yeah, just like the living entities merge. I mean,
Yes.
after the annihilation of the universe with the Mahavishnu. That's interesting. I didn't know this detail.
Yes, Prabhu. And this also that thus engage in the service of the Supreme person of God, the Lord Brahma, entered into the wall of the lotus, and as it spread all over the universe, he divided it into 3 divisions of worlds, and later into 14 divisions. And yeah, here time was explained really clearly, that it is the impersonal manifestation of Krishna. This verse also was interesting because it is really similar to the when Arjuna was asking about the soul and Krishna was saying that I existed before. So this is really similar. This cosmic manifestation, as it is now, it was the same in the past and it will continue in the same way in the future.
So the technology which the scientists use now were also in the previous Kali Yuga.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so it repeats itself over. Okay.
Yeah, and actually it is mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, maybe in the first canto, that in the previous ages, atheists were so knowledgeable that they were capable of building a spaceship, and they were flying all over the universe and colonized other planets, something like that. Maybe I will try to find it.
Yes, Prabhu.
So actually, spaceship is not a new thing.
Yeah, in this purport, this was interesting point that the human being is more passionate than the animals, and thus the sex life of the human being is more irregular. The animals have their due time for sexual intercourse, but the human being has no regular time for such activities. So see, sometimes the human is more animal than the animal. The human being is endowed with a higher advanced stage of consciousness for getting relief from existence of material miseries, but due to his ignorance, he thinks that his higher consciousness is meant for advancing in material comforts of life. Thus, his intelligence is misused in the animal propensities. I'll check this quickly also. This I didn't start yet. Today I was reading some news came by me and they were saying that now science has cracked it. They have found some new particle that could explain the soul. It was so funny. And they were sharing it everywhere. Every year they come up, that they have found the clue for the absolute truth. And now it's closer than ever.
Yes, bro.
Okay, Prabhu, do you want to read the next one also?
Yes, of course.
Ribol.
Haribol. Adityanam aham Vishnur Jyotisam Ravir Suman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranam aham Shashi Adityanam of the Adityas aham I am Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, Jyotisam of all luminaries, Ravihi the sun, Amsuman, radiant, Marichi, Marutam of the Marutas, Asmi I am, Nakshatranam of stars, Aham I am, Shashi the moon. What? Okay, the translation of the Adityas I am Vishnu, of lights I am the radiant sun, I am Marichi of the Maruts, and among the stars I am the moon. Purport. There are 12 Adityas, of which Krishna is the principal. And among all the luminaries twinkling in the sky, the sun is the chief, and in the Brahma Samhita, the sun is accepted as the glowing effulgence of the Supreme Lord, and is considered to be one of his eyes. Marichi is the controlling deity of the heavenly spaces. Among the stars, the moon is most prominent at night, and thus the moon represents Krishna. Wow. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So yes, the sun gives the ability to see, it activates the eyes, and the moon, it was for mind. That I read also. The moon gives the power to the mind. It's the controlling deity of mind. Okay, who wants to the next one?
Yes, me, please.
Prabhu, Haribol.
Okay. Vedanam samavedosmi, devanam asmi vasavaha, indriyanam manas jasmi, bhutanam asmi chetana. Vedanam of all the Vedas. Samasveda, the Samaveda asmi I am. Devanam of all the demigods. Asmi I am. Vashaha, heavenly king. Indriyanam of all the senses. Manaha, the mind. Cha, also. Asmi I am. Bhutanam of living entities. Asmi I am. Chetana, the living force. Okay, the appearance of the absolute. Translation. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigod, I am Indra. Of the sensei, I am the mind. And in living being, I am the living force. Knowledge. Purport. The difference between matter and spirit is that matter has no consciousness like the living entity. Therefore, this consciousness is supreme and eternal. Consciousness cannot be produced by a combination of matter.
Haribol. Okay, one more.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you can read the next one.
Oh, okay. Purport. The difference between matter.
No,
Oh.
Prabhu, this one.
Excuse. Okay. Okay. Rudranam. The visibility is big, Prabhu.
Is it now?
It's well, it's not clear. It's big. Yeah. No, it's no visible. Excuse me. It's
Is it now?
yeah. Reduction, please. Yeah. No, it's not clear, Prabhu.
Okay, 1 second. I'll do it again. Is it now?
Yes, it's good. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Yes.
Rudranam Shankara Shasmi Vitesho Yaksha Rakshasam Vasunam Pavaka Shasmi Meruhu Sikarnam Aham. Rudranam of all the Rudras. Shankaraha Raj Shiva. Cha Arso Asmi I am. Vite Shaha, the rod of the Trisuri. Why? Trishuri. Yaksha Rakshasam of the Yakshak and the Rakshasa. Vasunam of the Vasu. Pavakaha fire. Cha Arso. Asmi I am. Meruhu Meru. Shikarinam of all mountains. Aham I am. Translation. Of all the Rudras I am Lord Shiva. Of the Shakshas and Shaksaha I am the rod of wrath, Kuvera. Of the Vasu I am fire, Agni. And of the mountain I am Manu. Purport. There are 11 Rudras of whom Shankara Shiva is predominant. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord in charge of the modes of ignorance in the universe. Among the demigod Kuvera is the chief treasurer, and he is a representation of the Supreme Lord. Meru is a mountain famed for its rich natural resources.
Rivo. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Haribol, excuse my English is
No, Prabhu. It's really good, actually. Really fun. You
It's
have
good.
yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Rivo. Okay, who wants next?
Haribol.
Does anyone want or can I?
Yes, Prabhu, you can also read. Rivo.
Burodasham chamukyam mam vidiparta prihaspatim senaninam aham skanda sarasam asmi sagaraha. Purodasam of all priests, cha also mukyam chief, mam me viti understand partha o son of partha Brihaspati, Senaninam of all commanders, Aham I am, Skandaha Kartikeya, Sarasam of all reservoirs of water, Asmi I am, Sagaraha the ocean. Translation of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief, Brahaspati, the lord of devotion. Of generals I am Skanda, the lord of war, and of bodies of water I am the ocean. Purport. Indra is the chief demigod of the heavenly planets and is known as the king of the heavens. The planet in which he reigns is called Indraloka. Brahaspati is Indra's priest, and since Indra is the chief of all kings, is that Brihaspati or Brahas? I don't know the Brahaspati, something like that.
That's
He's
right.
the chief of all priests. And as Indra is the chief of all kings, similarly Skanda, the son of Parvati and Lord Shiva, is the chief of all military commanders. And of all bodies of water, the ocean is the greatest. These representations of Krishna only give hints of his greatness.
Yes, Prabhu. Because we cannot actually perceive the greatness of Krishna, so he's giving now examples that we can perceive. Like the tiger among animals, like the shark among the fish. These we can perceive, so these are... But this doesn't really accurately describe the real power of Krishna, but these are hints of his greatness, so we can understand. Okay, you can read next one also.
Maharshinam Prakur Aham Giram Asmyekam Aksharam Yakyanam Japa Yakyosmi Stavaranam Himalaya. Maharshi Nam, among the great sages, Bhrugu, Aham, I am, Giram, of vibrations, Asmi, I am, Ekam, Aksharam, Pranava, Yakyanam, of sacrifices. What? Okay, Japa, Yakya, chanting, Asmi, I am, Stavaranam, of immovable things, Himalaya, the Himalayan mountains. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Yapa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Purport. Brahma, the first living creature within the universe, created several sons for the propagation of various kinds of species. The most powerful of his sons is Bhrigu, who is also the greatest sage. Of all the transcendental vibrations, the Omkara, represents the supreme. Of all the sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the purest representation of Krishna. Sometimes animal sacrifices are recommended, but in the sacrifice of Hare Krishna, there is no question of violence. It is the simplest and purest. Whatever is sublime in the worlds is a representation of Krishna. Therefore the Himalayas, the greatest mountains in the world, also represent him. The mountain named Meru was mentioned in a previous verse, but Meru is sometimes movable, whereas the Himalayas are never movable. Thus the Himalayas are greater than Meru.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, through these manifestations we can perceive the Lord. Because we cannot see Krishna directly. So this is also because those people who ask evidence of God, where I can see God, can you show me God? Then God is saying so many things. I am this, I am that, I am that. And then when you say, oh, God is this, God is time, God is death, God is all these things, God is the sun, God is the moon, then they say, they get confused. Okay, Haribol, I think we need to go to 6 as the compares. And also through these examples, we can, when we are in some nature or when we are doing some activities anywhere, we can remember Lord also through these things. For example, the drinking of water. When you drink water, you cannot remember, oh, Krishna said, I drink water. So now I'm in contact with Krishna. So many examples he gave what he is, and in nature we can perceive these things. Prabhu, I'm not sure. Pranjal Prabhu, I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about Golden Meru Mountain. Where is Mahavishnu Loka? East of Sumer Hill is a golden island called Mahavishnu Loka.
Never heard of this.
Yes, Prabhu. I've also first time seeing this. Here it is. TCRD purport 112. The following description of the Vishnu Loka within this universe, quoted from the Vishnu Dhamottara. Above Rudra Loka, the planet of Lord Shiva is the planet called Vishnu Loka, 400,000 miles in circumference, which is inaccessible to any mortal living being. Above that Vishnu Loka and east of the Sumeri hill is a golden island called Mahavishnu Loka. In the ocean of salt water, Lord Brahma and other demigods sometimes go there to meet Lord Vishnu. So it is that place where they go meet Lord Vishnu. It is called Mahavishnu Loka. Lord Vishnu lies there with the goddess of fortune, and it is said that during the 4 months of rainy season, he enjoys sleeping on that Seshanaga bed. East of Sumeru is the ocean of milk, in which there is white city of White Island, where the Lord can be seen sitting with his consort Lakshmi Ji on a throne of Sesha. That feature of Vishnu also enjoys sleeping during the 4 months of the rainy season. The Sveta Dvipa in the Milk Ocean is situated just south of the ocean of salt water. It is calculated that the area of Sveta Dvip is 200,000 square miles. So accurate descriptions. Like what I'm going to do with this knowledge ever, but still all the small details are given.
I found that verse where it is said that in the previous ages, atheists were flying on the spaceships and creating havoc.
Shared.
2737. It was hard to find. Yeah, somehow or other. I don't have it in my notes. I don't know why.
When the atheist, after being well versed in the Vedic scientific knowledge, annihilate inhabitants of different planets, flying unseen in the sky on well-built rockets prepared by the great scientist Maya, the Lord will bewilder their minds by dressing himself attractively as Buddha and will preach on sub-religious principles. Yeah, this is like Star Wars. They made the movie where they are trying to annihilate different inhabitants on different planets. Flying unseen in
Yeah,
the sky on well-built. Yeah,
they were much advanced than us.
yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, you see the purpose.
The incarnation of Lord Buddha is not the same Buddha incarnation we have in the present history of mankind. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Buddha incarnation mentioned in this verse appeared in the different Kali age. In the duration of life, one Manu, there are more than 72 Kali Yugas, and in one of them, the particular type of Buddha mentioned here would appear. Lord Buddha incarnates at a time when the people are most materialistic and preaches common sense, not religious principles. Such ahimsa is not a religious principle itself, but it is an important quality for persons who are actually religious. It is a common sense religion because one is advised to do no harm to any other animal or living being, because such harmful actions are equally harmful to he who does the harm. But before learning the principles of nonviolence, one has to learn two other principles, namely to be humble and to be prideless. Unless one is humble and prideless, one cannot be harmless and nonviolent. And after being nonviolent, one has to learn tolerance and simplicity of living. One must offer respect to the great religious preachers and spiritual leaders, and also train the senses for controlled action, learning to be unattached to family and home, and enacting devotional service to the Lord. At the ultimate stage one has to accept the Lord and become his devotee. Otherwise, there is no religion. In religious principles, there must be God in the center. Otherwise, simple moral instructions are merely sub-religious principles, generally known as upadharma, or nearness to religious principles. Okay, Haribol, now let's go to six Astakam prayers. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam shreyah kairavachan avitaranam vidyava dujivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
It's not visible, Prabhu. It's a big Prabhu. Oh, yes.
Visible.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam just. Hare Krishna Mataji, sir.
Still
मैं अच्छा हूँ. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Who will read?
Should I
Yes,
should I
Prabhu.
read, bro? नामनामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस् तत्प्रपिता नियमिता स्मरणे काला एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवान् मामापि दुर्दैव ईदृशाम् इह जानानि नानुग्रह
ऋणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानतेन कीर्तनया सदा हरि
न जन्म न जन्म न सुंदरम कवितां वा जगदीशकामे मम जन्मनि जन्मनेश्वरे भगवद्भक्तिर्हेतुकी त्वयि।
आयनादतनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवां बुधो कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तयाम्।
नयनं गलदश्रुधाराया वदनं गदगदया रुद्धाय गिराकुलाकिरणिशितां बभूव कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविर्शायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे
आश्लिष्य वा पदारतं विनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान् स्मरं हतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनस्तु स एव नरः। विभो
Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
Oh my Lord,
Oh
your
my
holy
Lord,
name alone can.
go
Oh my
on, brother.
Lord, your holy name alone can render all the benediction to the living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of the name, like Krishna and Govinda. In this transcendental name, you have invested all your transcendental energy. There are not even hard and fast tool for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy name. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. Sorry.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up, ocean of death, and place me one of the atom at your lotus feet.
Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly? When I chant your holy name, when will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna, my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handle me roughly by his embrace of makes me broken heart by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditional.
Haribo, Sri Siksastakam ki jai.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's read these 10 offenses. The 10 offenses to the holy name. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense, to consider the name of the demigod like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
Third offense, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version.
5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Sixth, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
6.1.
To give some
Pankaj, Prabhu,
interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
Eighth,
7.
7.
To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the association activities which are offered in the Vedas as productive activities, karma.
7
Ninth,
is important. We can read it.
7. To commit
Seven-
sinful
Seventh
activities on
offense,
the strength of the holy name.
ninth offense, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
10. To not have a complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and faith and material attachment, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Pancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Panchatattva की जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय गीता प्रभुपाद की जय जय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल
Hare Bol, Hare Bol.